everyone. It is Sunday Sit Down time. We got a special guest joining us for Sunday Sit Down, Mizzou softball coach Larissa Anderson. Larissa, how's the cold winter been for you? Are you surviving until we get to spring here?
I'm surviving. I'm done with it. I'm looking to turn the page and work our way into spring.
Well, we're getting close to the season. It always feels like it's right around the corner at this time of year. You know, tell me the thoughts on this 2025 group, who you got coming back, some new pieces you have this year too.
I'll start in the circle. I'm real excited for the development that Sierra Harrison has and the experience that she had the last 2 years and being a junior now. Marissa McCann is another one that is going to add to that depth in the circle and having her experience last year as a freshman. But I think the biggest piece is Taylor Pennell, led the country in saves last year. Having that experience and what it was like to play through super regionals. So, I mean, that really starts the ball rolling. It has to start in the circle. But then having the veterans like Kara Daly, Julia Crenshaw, Kaylee Lenger, Madison Walker, Abby Hay, like having a ton of players that are returning. And obviously it hurts losing the top of your lineup with Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold and Maddie Gallagher, but they really set and left a huge legacy on what everyone's looking to do and looking to carry on that tradition.
When you look in the circle, obviously, Sierra had a heck of a person to learn from. When you look at Lauren Krings, what do you feel like Sierra was maybe able to take from Lauren? And, you know, now obviously taking a step forward this year as a leader in that room.
You know, Lauren Krings had one of those story-ending careers. I mean, she left it all on the field, and that's what you ask every athlete to do, is just to leave it all there. And she did that, and she showed by example. And I think that's what Harrison and McCann really learned from her, and Pennell as well, is, you know, have no regrets. Leave it all on the field. Put the team on your back and carry them as far as you possibly can. And that's exactly what Krings did to finish off her career.
When you look at, you know, players like Jenna Laird and Alex Honnold, I feel like we had them here for forever, you know, and then now they leave and move on. Who do you specifically maybe want to see step up when you look at replacing those leadership roles?
You know, really our veterans, our upperclassmen, and I think we're going to rely heavily on Kara Daly, Julia Crenshaw, Abby Hay, and Madison Walker. I mean, those are going to be the foundation of our infield and the consistency. And, you know, playing alongside Jenna Laird and Alex for those 3 years that they were part of that program. So it's just continue to mold it, and then giving freshmen opportunities to be able to step in without feeling the pressure that they have to replace Jenna. Like, you can't replace Jenna and you're not looking to replace her. Let's just find someone that can play in that position and be consistent and being able to maximize our opportunities.
Well, you have a standout group of freshmen coming in as well, some of the top players rated in the country in the preseason. I want to focus on one local talent here, Madison Updegrove from Tolton. You know, what have you seen from her, maybe the early stages of being with this Tiger team and kind of getting her feet under her a little bit?
I mean, she's going to be real special. And you know, but I think what's setting her up to be successful is that we're not expecting, we're not expecting her to be Jenna Laird. We want her to be Madison Updegrove, and we want her to be in her own and get comfortable with the level of play, how fast our game is. But I've seen a huge amount of growth from her, from what she was able to do in the fall to the amount of time that she spent on the game in the off season in December and January, and what she's able to give right now. So it gives us a lot more versatility and depth to be able to move people around at different positions to be able to maximize what our offense can do.
One thing that obviously stands out about this program every offseason, I feel like you guys have such a minimal amount of people, you know, transferring out. You have kids that stick with this program for a long time. When you look at freshmen that come in, what are some qualities and some traits that you look for in kids like Madison and other freshmen that come in this program?
You know, the game doesn't care. So that's the number one. The game doesn't care if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So everyone has an opportunity, and you're going to have an opportunity to compete to win a starting position. But that can happen in February. It can also happen in May. And I think Madison Walker proved that extremely well last year, where there was a freshman that won the starting first base job in February. And then Abby Hay took advantage of her opportunities, and then the game came down into the postseason, and who did we rely on is Madison Walker, who hadn't had an at-bat in a couple months. But if you continue to work and buy into the program and the culture, the game's going to pay you back. And I think that's what really separates us from a lot of teams around the country, is the culture that we created in bringing in players that really truly buy into that culture and want to be a part of it.
Well, you're just around the corner from starting this season. NFCA Leadoff Classic going to start. You have some of the top teams in the country. Then the weekend after, you have more top teams in the country. What do you like about scheduling so many difficult teams right at the beginning of the year here?
I mean, we want to be exposed from the very beginning. And what do we need to work on? So we have to go up against the best to be able to tell us what do we need to do so we're prepared for SEC play. Because we know when we get down to conference, I mean, it's a super regional matchup every single weekend, a 3-game series. I mean, it's brutal and it's gruesome. So let's figure out early on in the year where we need to improve and how we need to get better and faster and make those adjustments in February so then we're better prepared for March, April, and May.
Do you feel like the SEC has really been the key? Obviously, you guys are a consistent postseason appearance team. Is that kind of the key to you guys being so ready to make those postseason appearances year in and year out?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's the number one goal, is to go to postseason.
Right.
You know, we want to put ourselves in a situation that we can host. So how do you do that? You play the top schedules. You have to have a strong RPI. You have to have a strong strength of schedule. You can't go through your non-conference schedule and go 28-0, and then all of a sudden you hit SEC play and you're not prepared. So it's having a real good balance of your RPI teams, the games you're expected to win, the games you could win, to be able to be challenged for that SEC play.
Oklahoma, Texas joining the SEC. The league just gets harder every year. You know, what is an addition like those two programs who have obviously had their own history, you know, make this a Southeastern Conference now?
Yeah, I mean, we're a super conference for sure. I mean, to have the best teams in the country in one conference is really remarkable, and I think it just makes the SEC that much stronger. I mean, it's real exciting if you can get all 15 teams in our conference to go to postseason. I mean, tough for the NCAA to figure out if you have 15 SEC teams hosting regionals. I mean, then we're really dominating the postseason, which is what we want to do. Like, we want the best teams to be in our conference to go to postseason. And it just continues to make us stronger. I mean, Oklahoma obviously has had a rich tradition of national championships, and Texas has been in that championship game. And it just continues to push the bar higher and the standard higher.
We're going to be at home a little bit more this season now. Fans are going to get to see, you know, those teams. You know, are you excited to be back at the Mizzou softball stadium a little bit more frequently this season now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't want to be on a bus and a plane traveling out of state for sure. But, I mean, our atmosphere is just so exciting to have sellout crowds, to know our season ticket holders that we're sold out. I mean, we're having conversations on how we can add more seating in our stadium, which is a good problem to have. But, I mean, the atmosphere just adds so much to the players' experience. I mean, when they say that their most memorable experiences are when they hear the MIZ chant in the stadium going from home plate to the outfield berm, I mean, those memories are going to last a lifetime for them.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about your big addition to the softball stadium, the Rock M. How did that come about? That's a pretty awesome addition to that stadium.
Really awesome. And we've been having some of those conversations for a couple years, and they started within our own personnel and our staff and just how cool it would be. And there's been some buzzes on social media. But with the renovations of the north end zone, I was like, here's my perfect opportunity. And then with the addition of Laird Veach coming on as our athletic director, he came out to practice a couple times this fall, and we're looking around the stadium, and he says, you know, talk to me about your stadium. What kind of improvements would you like? And I'm like, you know what? I'd love to see a Rock M on that berm. And he's like, let's do it. And with some of the reduction of the rocks in the football stadium, it's just a perfect time to be able to transition them over to our stadium. And our little motto that we're having is just expand the tradition, expand that Rock M to another program.
Well, I'm excited to see it in person. It looks pretty cool on social media, so I appreciate you making the time, Larissa. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
For the rest of you guys, we'll be right back after the break.